Mobile care monitoring is made up of two main areas, the Care app and Monitor. We'll start by looking at the Care app from the perspective of a carer by the name of Sam Jones. The Care app can be run on Android or iOS devices. The main goal of this system is to give carers the ability to provide better care. This is done by reducing the amount of time the carer spends evidencing care so they can focus on what matters. Now that I've finished logging in, I'm presented with all the residents in the home that require care. I have a number of flags which show whether I have upcoming care actions that need evidencing or if there are any close to running late. By clicking on one of these residents, it opens their profile. Here you can see a list of the upcoming care actions that need to be evidenced for the day. The green tiles show care actions that have already been evidenced. So for this example, we'll make sure Eric has his lunch. He had his lunch in the dining room, his appetite was good, and he had a healthy meal. You'll notice as I'm tapping each icon, the care note is being created. This is the core of the app. By removing the need to write anything, the Care app allows for quick entry of data and can be used easily by people who don't speak English as a first language. You'll notice the readiness to eat section. This is an example of ACFI implementation in the system. Selecting one of these options updates Eric's ACFI score. Below I select Eric's mood, then press complete. This takes me back to the home screen where I can see Eric now has a green smiley face next to his name. This shows all the carers in the home that Eric is happy and he has received care. This smiley face icon will fade over the next 2 hours, alerting the carers to the fact that it's been some time since Eric was checked on. Going back into Eric's profile, I can see different menus for different information. Here we can see the diary tab. This shows any diary activities coming up for Eric. We can see that Eric has bowling just after 6:30 tonight, and I can add another entry in from the screen. Adding a diary event will update all the devices so all the carers know at all time what's going on with the residents. On the next page, I see important information about Eric. At the bottom of the page is a button to show the last 48 hours of care. This can be used if Eric has to go to hospital. The hospital staff have up-to-date information of the last 48 hours in one place. Finally, carers have the ability to enter ad hoc care actions. The goal of the software is to encourage community and not treat care actions as tasks that need to be completed as quickly as possible. So there will be times that carers go out of their way to provide care, and we want to make sure we capture all that data because that data is what makes for good reporting, which results in better care. As an example, let's assume Eric had a fall. By selecting ad hoc, we can add details about the resulting fall. Again, you can see the care note being created with each tap of the icons. Going back to Eric's profile, we can see that this action has been added. Now we're going to have a look at Monitor. On the home screen, we can see all the residents and under which home they belong to. And on the left, there's a staff on duty section where we can see that Sam is currently logged in. There are many charts and reports which can be adjusted by certain criteria. Under the process, we have more reports, and this is where we have our ACFI implementation. As I mentioned earlier, the ACFI criteria has been implemented into the Care app, so with more data coming in, providers stand a good chance of increasing their funding. These values are updated in real time, so you'll always have an accurate, up-to-date score based on the care being delivered. Back at the homepage, we see the same flags and information as on the Care app. In the top right, we have a list of activities for all the residents. We also have an activities app which functions in the same way as the Care app, but shows only activities. This is where we can create group activities. Clicking on a resident, we see more information. Let's have a look at Betty. On her homepage, we have all the care plan for her day and text relating to her situation, as well as all the relevant contact information. There's a number of tabs that show different data specifically about Betty. Clicking on Hospital Pack, it creates a printable document that can be used if Betty ever needs to go into hospital. It contains all the latest care information. Opening the assessment tabs, we can see all the assessments that would be used when admitting a new resident into the home. After each assessment is created, a score is produced. Depending on the score, we may need to create a care plan need to satisfy the concern. And once we create that care plan with care actions, this red text would disappear. Once we've added all the assessments, we can now create the initial assessment. This is where we take all the assessments and add in any extra text that might pertain to the resident's situation. Once we have the initial assessment created, we complete it, and this is now locked. We're then given a current situation that might change in the future. After the assessment is done, we create a care plan with that information. Here we take the assessments and apply care actions to them. We can now enter information about the care plan need, including what care action we want to associate with it. The last step is to plan care for the day. This is where we'd set up all the care that Betty needs in a day based on her care plan need and any other requirements. In this example, let's do a pad check at 11 a.m. and make sure that it's done every single day. Now we'll look at the Relatives Gateway. This portal gives relatives access to the care being delivered. Certain information can be withheld from the portal, so family members can only see certain aspects. In this portal, we can see a few different pieces of information, including a summary of the care over month to month and the daily plan set up for the resident. We can also see the care being provided based on the care notes. The system takes those care notes and transforms them into paragraph form. There's also charts and a copy of the complete care plan.